Davis. America represented by Lance King, Dyke Farrer, Captain Bobby Schwartz, Dennis Sigalos, Sean Moran, Rick Miller, and Kelly Moran. Well, despite their problems, the Americans started well, and after 3 heats were clearly in the lead. Remember, it's 3 points for a win, 2 for second, 1 for third. The interviewer is Gary Newbond, and the commentary is now by Dave Lanning.
The lineup, we look across on the inside, Markham Simmons. In grid 2, Mike Faria, impressive with a 3rd place in his first ride. Grid 3 has Peter Collins, and on the outside, the American skipper, Bobby Schwartz, in white with a race win. The Americans using different tyres, and they have looked that bit crisper. Heat 4. And again, it is Schwartz from the outside. Schwartz leads it. In 2nd place, it is Simmons. In 3rd place, Collins coming around the outside now of corner 2. But Schwartz it is, anchoring the stateside. Collins chasing after him now. In 3rd place, it is Simmons. So the 2 skippers together, and Schwartz must withstand the thrusts of the challengers, and Peter Collins will be anxious to pick up this English performance. Looks a little bit on the slick side there. It looks like it's going to be difficult to find the drive to come from behind, but Collins will keep going. This is lap 3, and moving into the last lap now, and Peter Collins looking outside and inside, and Schwartz has not made a mistake. So PC will swing down on the inside now. Has he got the drive? And he just can't seem to find it. In 3rd place, it's still Simmons. This is a battle up front, and Bobby Schwartz has ridden an immaculate line and wins heat 4. 2nd place was Collins, 3rd was Simmons. So Schwartz it was who anchored the Americans, but certainly a much livelier performance from the English pairing, and that was a shared heat, 3 to each team. Sigalos will be in grid 3 here, and he's got Kenny Carter, who is still to open his account, which again was unexpected. So a look at the lineup of heat 5. On the inside there, Lance King with a 2nd place in his first ride. In grid 2, it's Chris Morton. Grid 3, we have Sigalos, and on the outside, Kenny Carter. There's the lineup. 16-8. We remind you the score in favour of the Americans. And of course, Carter and Sigalos had 1 or 2 somewhat tempestuous brushes last year in individual events. Interesting to see. There's Dash up to the corner, heat 5. And again, it is the Americans who hit the first corner in front. Sigalos leads it. King is 2nd, 3rd is Morton. And the Americans look so sharp out of the traps, and of course that's such a great advantage at Speedway racing, particularly when there isn't a lot of room to come through. Though Morton has brought a hole down the inside of Lance King, and Morton chasing hard now after Sigalos, and Carter's at the back again. A surprise, but we've got a bit more like it now as Carter tries to come from the back, and Morton moves up on Sigalos. Carter right on the back wheel of Lance King, and King chops him there on that pit turn. And Morton on the back wheel of Sigalos, and the Englishmen are battling, but the Americans are holding fast at the moment, and we move into the last lap. Still Sigalos, 2nd place Morton, Carter busting a gun at the back there, but it's still King in 3rd place, and they just can't find that bit of extra. Still Sigalos in front. Carter hasn't made through. Morton is 2nd. King has held on for 3rd place. 4 laps of tense, nail-biting Speedway. Sigalos managed to hold on despite Morton having a nibble at his rear wheel front from the back, inside and out, for virtually the whole of the 4 laps. But it means the Americans have gone further ahead.
Peter Collins, England captain, 5 heats gone, and you're trailing 20 points to 10.
Yeah, that's right, but it's still very early yet. We've all had problems with tyres, actually. I think just about all our lads started on one certain tyre, and we've changed and used another tyre. And the last few races we've been picking up a bit, so...
Why are you getting the wrong tyres? What is the problem there?
Well, there are three or four different tyres which you can use, and turns out that we started with the wrong tyres, or some of our lads did. Some
What
didn't.
sort of tyres are you using?
Well, there are Dunlops, Carlisles, Pirellis, so, you know, it's difficult deciding right from the word go which tyre to use. But we all know now, so hopefully we'll be able to get it together now.
Are you using the same tyres as the Americans now?
We are now, yeah.
So they were right on that count?
They were right on that count.
Thank you, Peter.
Let's have a look at the lineup for Heat 6. On the inside, Michael Lee, second place, first time out. Next to him, we have Kelly Moran in yellow and black, that helmet colour. Grid 3 has Dave Jessup, who went for rather ignominiously from first to last in his first ride. And on the outside, Sean Moran, a very impressive race winner in his first heat. Heat 6, and the English revival has really got to start about now as they settle down. The crowd here at Wimbledon, it is a good one too, it's a nice evening. But they have been silenced rather by this start by the Englishman, which has been lacklustre to say the very least. Here's Heat 6. Can Lee and Jessup get it together for the Lions? And Jessup has been left at the start completely. Sean Moran leads it. Michael Lee is in second place, and Dave Jessup, same story we seem to say so many times in World Speedway, Jessup having trouble. But this is giving extra advantage to the Americans. It's Sean Moran in front, Michael Lee in second place, Kelly Moran, a little bit race rusty, hasn't come back to ride in British League Speedway this year for his club eSport. Maybe it will just knock the edge off his points scoring ability here, but younger brother Sean, who's only just back after breaking an arm, doesn't seem to have slowed him down at all. He, of course, is with Sheffield. Over the line into the last lap. They do 1,165 metres over a 4-lap race here at Wimbledon, and the more observant of our viewers may have noticed they in fact finish at a different line than they start. Makes no difference to Sean Moran. He takes Heat 6, second place Lee, third in the yellow and black helmet was Kelly Moran, and America go further in front.
David Jessup, what happened there?
Chain just broke on the starting line, I'm afraid.
You're getting used to those sort of things, eh?
Well, we could do without it on nights like this, though, couldn't we? You know, like the team's not doing too well, and, you know, you don't think things like that to go wrong as well. Never mind.
So after 6 heats, the Americans 12 points in front now, and Wally Maudsley, the New England manager, must now start to gamble, and gamble he does in Heat 7, replacing Kenny Carter, reputed to be the England #1. He really hasn't looked anywhere near his usual self here so far this evening, with reserved John Davis from Poole, and JD will be in the red helmet colour on the outside, and it's just his kind of ambition and style to try and fire England. They certainly could do with some inspiration from somewhere. There he is on the outside, the blonde pin-up boy of the South Coast, and he can nip out of the traps when he feels in the mood. He's got Bobby Schwartz, an old sparring partner of his, on the inside in white. Then Chris Morton with 2 second places, England's most successful rider so far. They still haven't had a heat winner. Grid 3 has Mike Faria in yellow and black, and John Davis on the outside for England. Heat 7. Nudging the tapes, away they go this time, and it is Davis who sweeps across from the outside. Davis leads at second place, is Schwartz. In third place it is Morton, and Faria going the hard road around the outside of Morton, and that's bold, but it's John Davis in front, and Morton and Schwartz getting a tangle there, and that allows Faria to come through, and that was team tactics from Schwartz, looking for his partner, and he was getting a bit torrid out there. So Davis still in front. This is better news for England. Second place now, Faria has been pushed up ahead as Bobby Schwartz tries to shelter him and shield him from Chris Morton, but he doesn't need much shielding because he's chasing hard after Davis, and this lad does seem to be a discovery, and Davis has slid out and almost left a gap for him. Good Speedway, battle up front, they're on the last lap, Davis in front. Morton is really trying to bust the gap to get through on the outside of Schwartz. Davis wins it, second place for Faria. Third was Schwartz. Morton at the back, England's first heat win. Well, let's have a look at the one moment when England looked as though they might gain some advantage here. In Heat 7, you can see reserve John Davis on the outside, gets away, Chris starts, sweeps across the field, gets the drop on Bobby Schwartz. Schwartz is second, Morton is third, and it's Faria at the back. Now, the American at the back makes his move here, and Morton flourishes briefly, looks across, knows where Faria is, and tries to dive down the inside of Bobby Schwartz. And for a moment, it looked like he just might get up on him. But then you could see just a bit of a collision there. And it was Morton who came off the worst. Schwartz recovered the quickest. Faria saw his chance, and that was Morton's chance gone.
So England tried to fight back, but they still have a 12-points deficit, and we shall continue our coverage of that test from Heat 8 onwards at about...
7 heats gone, the Americans still comfortably in front, and England still trying to find that extra incentive. Have brought in another reserve. There's Michael Lee, who's had 2 second places. No real disgrace from him so far. Coming in, replacing Dave Jessup, will be Les Collins. He'll be in blue in grid 2. There's Les from Leicester, of course, the younger brother of Peter, and second in the World Individual Final last year. Hasn't managed to recapture that form. Troubled with mechanical problems this year up there in the East Midlands. And the Americans have Dennis Sigalos, who's looked impeccable. He's in white and on the inside Lance King, who supported him nobly. Here's heat number 8. And oh dear, Lee is in terrible trouble going up to the first turn, and it's Sigalos and King, and Collins is in 3rd place. And Michael Lee almost lost it. And Lee coming around the outside now. Battling, but it's still Sigalos. And the real humdinger is for 2nd place, with Lance King. And this really is an amazing transformation, because King has struggled in the British League with Craigley Heath. He's hardly got a 6-point average, and down goes Lee, and down goes Collins. And Michael Lee just overcooked the corner, and Collins had nowhere to go but into him. I don't think he hit him too hard, but Lee not looking at all happy with life at this stage. Here's the moment it all happened. You can see Lance King almost locked up, and Michael Lee trying to throw out the anchors, just overcooked the corner. Now watch Les Collins, and he's getting off already. Down goes Lee, over the wrong way. Collins did well really to get the bike down, but the bike just slides on. Now, does it give him a nudge? Don't think it actually made contact with him, so it's just the impact of Lee hitting the track that's done the damage. And there is Lee going across to Les Collins to say, thanks mate for missing me, because that really was a superb piece of avoiding action. And Michael Lee knows that, well, Les Collins' expertise may just have saved his skin there. And there is the red exclusion light, which signifies that Michael Lee has been put out of the restart. Well, Heat 8 is really proving to be something of a horror movie for England, because we have lost Michael Lee off to hospital with suspected broken ribs. Now Les Collins has been forced to withdraw with a wrist injury. I think he might have just got it caught in his cutout as he slipped off. So John Davis is brought in, the other England reserve, to battle with the flying Americans, Sigalos and King. And it's King on the outside in yellow and black. Sigalos, who has looked in a class of his own, it must be said. He's in white in grid 2. Davis, of course, England's only race winner. And there is the lineup. You can see Davis on the inside, England's only race winner. Dennis Sigalos in white, and then right out on his own, Lance King in yellow and black. Now, can Davis get in amongst the high-flying Americans? And Sigalos gets up to the corner in front of him, so too does King. And King on the outside, and Davis moving down on the inside of Lance King to split up the Americans at this stage of lap 1. Still Sigalos and King has now swung back very cleverly inside Davis, and Davis has swung back inside him, and the real battle here is for 2nd place, but now it is King who just cuts clear. Sigalos coolly removing his goggles and looking back at the pits. He really does look, as his promoter John Berry says, the best rider in the world at the moment, and Davis really is trying his heart out for England, and that 2nd place after King, who really has been a revelation into the last lap. Still the Americans in front, and still Davis trying to find the drive, trying to find the impetus, trying to find the legs, but he doesn't look as he's going to do it unless he can produce a miracle here around the last 2 corners. And the Americans are rampant. Sigalos on his back wheel, King is 2nd, Davis trying hard is 3rd. And look at those Americans, when they pull on that body colour, they grow in stature. And King, who has just been a moderate kind of British League rider, I'm sure he'll forgive me for saying that, really has looked international class. And Sigalos, well, he's from a different stratosphere.
Well, Bobby Schwartz, what do you think of it so far?
Great, Gary. I'm really enjoying myself tonight. It's the first time I've been team captain, and the boys are doing a great job.
Well, on paper, it seemed to be a weakened American team, but you're not riding like that.
Right, Gary. I think in any team, it's team spirit that counts, and we've got it.
You look very determined.
We are. We've got a point to prove, and we're still with a good chance in the sport to stay on top, and we're going to try our best.
Well, you're riding like a man inspired tonight. How much is that influenced by your own personal problems during the week?
Oh, I don't have any personal problems. I've letting that all rest. It's behind me now, and there's never really been a problem.
10 heats completed. The Americans now 20 points in front, and this really is getting to be a right pasting for the Englishman. And we come into heat 11 with Peter Collins, who has 2 points. He'll be in the red helmet colour, and remarkably Malcolm Simmons with 2/3 and a second is England's top scorer at this stage. And they're in against Sigalos, and Sigalos has looked like a man from another planet. He has been so much in command, it has been almost embarrassing. He's in white, and young Lance King, whose league form certainly is no indication of the sort of fire and passion that he's shown this evening. He's in yellow and black on the inside. Here we go for heat 11. And again it is Sigalos and King on the inside, and King rides the curve. In second place, so coming around the outside, it is Simmons. Sigalos leads it. Simmons is second. King is third, and Collins at the back. And King sweeping inside. Malcolm Simmons boldly getting up to challenge the veteran Englishman. And I think he's just about got the legs on him here. The battle for second place. Simmons outside, King inside. Sigalos has so much time to look over his shoulder. It really is quite an embarrassment. And King goes past Malcolm Simmons, who swings back down the inside. But it is America 1-2 again, and this is fast developing into rather a scandal for England. The Americans were underrated by most people, but they have shown the Lion that really he's toothless tonight. Sigalos, hand off, just looking around for his young partner. He's making it look so simple, and there'll be some inquests and red faces in the England camp tonight. Heat 12, and we have the lineup on the inside. Chris Morton with 2 second places. Really has battled as hard as any Englishman to little avail. Next to him in yellow and black we have Kelly Moran. He has 3 third places. Grid 3, Kenny Carter from Halifax in England hasn't scored yet. We never thought we'd say that in a major international event. On the outside, Sean Moran unbeaten. And again, it is Sean Moran who sweeps across, but then Morton's got to the corner with him, and there was a nudge there, and it got a little bit hairy. But it's Morton in front, Sean Moran second, Kelly Moran third, Carter battling through into third place. And this is a little bit more like it for England, with Morton in front and Carter moving up into third place, and Sean Moran in second place, and now Carter going after the younger of the Moran brothers, who looks over his shoulder, just a little bit put out there. This is looking as though it might be England's first heat advantage of the evening. It's come a bit late, maybe too late, and maybe not a heat advantage, because Moran, Sean is still going strong after Morton, and he'll try the inside run on him and dives underneath him, and Morton holds him out, and it's brave and bold and not a place for the faint at heart over the line. Morton just holds on. Sean Moran is second, and Kenny Carter gets up into third place in England. Glory, hallelujah, and won a race at last. Well, an almost rapturous reception for Chris Morton, which just shows how much this Wimbledon crowd would love to see England get up and really have a go at the throats of the Americans.
Dennis Sigalos, it appears that the tyres are making quite a considerable difference tonight, the Carlisles.
Yeah, the Carlisle tyres, we're used to riding the tyre like that. It's a good tire, it's wider than Pirelli. And I think it helps us on our starting, and we're used to riding them. The English boys, they had the same chance. I mean, they could have used them. Some of the guys are using them, you know, but they suit us better, I think, and we're making them work tonight.
Well, you've had maximum points so far, so how do you look at it?
Well, it's great. You know, I got a brand new bike. The first time it's ever been on the track tonight, and it's beautiful. It feels really good. The tire's great, and everything's going fantastic for me right now.
There is King, who again really has opened a few eyes here this evening. And they're coming in against the most successful English pairing, really. That's Chris Morton and Kenny Carter, who have recorded England's one heat victory of 4-2 in their last outing. So signs that a little spark of life perhaps in the England camp, it surely has come far too late to make any difference to the overall result of this first test. Of course, there's 4 more to come. It surely will be different elsewhere. We'll be looking in again at the 4th test at Ipswich. But now we look at the lineup for Heat 14. Carter on the inside, anxious to make amends for really an undistinguished night for him. Next to him, Sigalos, class of his own. Grid 3 has Morton, who has been in the thick of the action throughout, as is usual with this tenacious little Lancastrian. And on the outside, it's Lance King, the young man who really has ridden right out of his skin for America here at Wimbledon. Here's Heat 14 with the most successful pairings in both sides in action. Let's watch Sigalos get away, because he's usually the first to show. He is again this time. Sigalos in front, and King got squeezed out of the first corner. In second place, Morton, and King going down the inside, in between both Englishmen. Sigalos in front, second place Carter, third place Morton, and now young Lance King from Gravely Heath in California will have to grab some throttle and try to split the 2 Englishmen who are locked together and looking for him. Well, just look at Dennis Sigalos. There's the English pairing chasing the pack. But Sigalos, riding a new bike, says he feels absolutely in command, and he's looked like it. And at the back there, King is making his effort as well as we go over the line. Sigalos will win it. Second place is Carter. Morton is third, and King, despite trying for every inch of the 1,165 metres, just squeezed out of the placings. Just watch Sigalos in grid 2 in the white helmet as we have a look again in replay at the start. He stood still, his front wheel just off the ground, snakes a bit. But look, he's gained, what, 1-2 lengths before they even get to the turn. And that, again, was the kind of start that every Speedway rider dreams about. It will be shown on the inside in white. Then we have Dave Jessup, who had a second place last time out, his first score of the evening. Kelly Moran's in the yellow and black helmet colour in grid 3, and John Davis on the outside in the red helmet. Heat 15. Davis from the outside and Sean Moran from the inside, and John Davis again with a perfect start leads it. Sean Moran is second, third place is Jessup, and Kelly Moran just making ground up for third place. So it's England at the moment in front with John Davis, although Sean Moran's trying to shift him over and does so. Moran moves up front, second place Davis, third is Jessup, and Kelly Moran buzzing energetically around the English pairing for the minor placings. They really are weaving and ducking and diving as Kelly Moran tries the inside run on the Englishman. Jessup's moved into second place. Team riding with John Davis, of course. This pair were together as top liners with Reading a few seasons ago. Now Jessup with Wimbledon, Davis with Poole. No stopping Sean Moran, he's in front. And younger brother Kelly, rather elder brother Kelly, has not really made up the ground on the Englishman. It's going to be a divided heat. Sean Moran wins it. Second place Jessup, third John Davis hanging on in there, and England divide the spoils in Heat 15. And the Americans obviously feel that win wraps it up, which indeed it does. And it's interesting to see the indicative of the team spirit. Rick Miller there, this new boy right to the right of your picture, hasn't had a ride. Over with Coventry, a protege of Bruce Pennell, but he's been out encouraging the team and welcoming them back to the pits in every race. They really do have tremendous team exuberance, these Americans.